Clear signal to President Assad that he has to negotiate. Well, with me now is Ammar Waqqaf. He's a Syrian political activist based here in the UK. Well, what do you think? Do you think Mr. Haig is trying to do the right thing?
Well, in principle, I think any external, intervention in any conflict is only going to prolong it for a while, let alone arming either of the, or both indeed, conflict parties. So I think he's not doing the right thing. I think the Syrian government and the rebels have had enough of a stalemate recently for people to go into a negotiating table. Any debalancing of the situation on the ground may lead to maybe counterproductive actually.
But there's no sign at all of President Assad going to the negotiating table, is there? I mean, the last interview I remember him giving was very firm that he was going to crack down on the rebels and keep on doing so until they were defeated. Rebels as he describes them, or terrorists as he describes them.
Well, the Syrian foreign minister actually yesterday confirmed officially that they are going to attend Geneva. The Russians have been saying the same thing for a few days now. And I think, in a sense, it's in their interest to go into a negotiating table and reap or harvest the advances that their army has made over the past few months, and turn them into some political gains on that table.
So, what would you think that the European Union should do? Should it just sit on its hands, do nothing for the moment, or what?
Well, there is the danger of, a wider conflict erupting in the Middle East, and that should be taken into consideration. We know the Austrians are not so happy about what is, this proposal of Britain and France, and they are actually withdrawing or threatening of withdrawing their UN disengagement observer force from the Golan Heights. Probably they're thinking, if this is going to destabilize the situation more, is that really in their interest? And more, probably on a strategic or a futuristic view, is this going to end up in a more bloodshed on European capital streets of European capitals, if we feed this Salafi monster? So.
When you say Salafi monster, just remind us what, for a lot of people still won't understand.
Well, there is this Salafi, this Islamic extremist element of the rebels that is not hiding its face at all. And actually, the European Union is yet to recognise Jabhat al-Nusra as a terrorist organisation, as did the United States. So some people might say, if we support those people, there's going to be a backlash, just like we did in Afghanistan 30 years ago, and we had a huge backlash. And probably that might lead to alienating minorities in or minority immigrant societies in Europe.
But from what you say about, I made the point that President Assad himself set his face against doing a deal. All right, there's talks that they're going to go to these negotiations in Geneva, but this is not going to stop just like that, is it? I mean, President Assad is going to want to go on and on and on until he restores control over his country. Is that not the case?
Well, I would want to look at it from a different point of view. I would actually say that there is a big split between those who have the arms, say warlords on the ground from the opposition, and the politicians who are nurtured by the European countries and America all over the place. And there is a sort of power struggle between the two. And if those European nurtured politicians go into a negotiating table and agree something, there is no guarantee whatsoever that those on the ground, the warlords, are going to stick to it. And actually they might break it by shooting at whatever soldier they might see. So I would say, contrary to the British or Mr. Haig's suggestion today, probably breaking the aura of invincibility around those warlords is very much key to the success of any, political settlement.
Ammar Waqqaf, we're very grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
The head of the Catholic Church in Australia